She walked into the appointment, moving carefully. Small steps, flat-footed, eyes down, watching the floor like it might move on her, and she was proud of it. She'd told herself she was being cautious, smart, taking her time. She'd also fallen twice in the past year. That careful, shuffling, watch every step gait she developed, that wasn't protecting her. That was the problem. And there's one specific change, one thing you can do differently the next time you stand up and walk across a room, that fixes it. It costs nothing, no equipment, and the research behind it connects to something that will genuinely surprise you. How fast you walk is one of the most powerful predictors of how long you're going to live. More predictive than your cholesterol, more predictive than your blood pressure, more predictive than most of what your doctor measures at your annual physical. Let's get into it. Every step you take is a controlled fall, literally. You shift your weight forward, past the point of balance, and your other foot swings out to catch you. That's walking. Your body has been doing this automatically since you were about 1 year old. The whole system, your ankles, your hips, your eyes, the balance sensors in your inner ear, the nerve endings in the soles of your feet, all of it fires in a coordinated sequence to keep that controlled fall from becoming an actual one. After 60, several things in that system start to slip. Calf muscle strength drops, and the calves are what propel you forward into the next step. The nerve sensitivity in your feet fades, reaction time slows, the whole chain gets a little less sharp, and the body compensates. Steps get shorter. The foot doesn't lift as high, the stance gets wider. More time gets spent with both feet on the ground at once, because 2 feet on the floor feels more stable than teetering on one. Pay attention to this next part, because this is where most people's intuition gets it exactly backwards. That wider, flatter, shorter stepped gait doesn't actually improve stability. What it does is reduce consistency. And consistency, the rhythmic, predictable, step-after-step sameness of your gait, turns out to be the thing that matters most. Researchers measure something called step width variability. Not how wide your steps are, how much that width changes from step to step. And in study after study, the people with the highest variability, the most unpredictable, irregular gait, are the ones who fall. Not the ones walking fastest, not the ones with the longest steps, the ones whose gait can't settle into a reliable rhythm. Think of it like a car's suspension. A car that bounces unpredictably on every bump is harder to control than one with a firm, consistent ride. The issue isn't the speed, it's the variability. The safety shuffle generates enormous variability. Every small obstacle, every slight change in surface, every moment of hesitation sends a slightly different signal to a system that's already running with less margin than it used to have. This is why falling once doubles your chances of falling again. It's not just about injury. It's what that first fall does to your gait. You get scared, you compensate harder. The shuffle becomes more pronounced. The variability goes up. And the next fall becomes more likely, not less. The one change is this. Walk heel first. That's it. Every step, you land on your heel. Not flat-footed, not toe first, not a shuffle that barely leaves the ground. Heel first. And then let the foot roll forward, heel to ball to toe, the way it's designed to move. So why does that one mechanical change matter more than it sounds? When you land heel first, your leg has to extend forward to do it. You can't take a short, flat step and land on your heel. The geometry doesn't work. The heel strike pattern forces a longer stride. And a longer, more consistent stride is exactly what low-fall risk gait looks like in the research. It also forces the toe to clear the ground during the swing phase, the moment your foot is in the air between steps. Toe clearance. That's what prevents trips. The shuffle brings the foot so close to the floor that a rug edge, a crack in the pavement, a threshold strip between rooms becomes a trap. The heel-first gait lifts the toe. It creates margin. And when you walk heel first deliberately, thinking about it, placing each step with intention, your stride length stabilizes. The variability drops. The system that's been firing irregularly starts finding a rhythm again. Now I need you to understand what's actually at stake here, not as a concept, as a number. In 2021, 100 older adults died every single day from falls in the United States. 100 per day. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death in adults over 65. Ahead of car accidents, ahead of most diseases, people spend enormous energy worrying about. And a pooled analysis of nearly 35,000 older adults found that at age 75, your predicted 10-year survival based on walking speed alone ranges from 19% to 87%. 19 to 87. A 68-point gap in whether you're likely to be alive in 10 years, predicted by how fast you walk across a room today. more accurate than your blood panel, more accurate than your medical chart. And what determines how fast you walk, how confidently your gait system fires, how long your strides are, how consistent your rhythm is? Exactly the things heel-first walking either protects or, when the shuffle takes over, quietly erodes. So think about what that means as a life, not a statistic. The person who develops the safety shuffle at 65 and never addresses it, who shuffles through 70 through 75, isn't just at higher risk of one bad fall. They're on a trajectory. The Saturday morning walks they used to do with their partner get shorter, then stop. The grandkids who used to beg to go to the park get taken instead by someone else because the uneven ground isn't safe anymore. The small freedoms, driving to the grocery store alone, getting up from the floor after playing with the dog, moving through their own home without mapping every step, those start disappearing one by one. Not from a diagnosis, from a gait pattern nobody ever told them to change. The person who catches it can bend that trajectory. That's not motivational language. That's what the research shows. Simple doesn't mean automatic. Not right away. The safety shuffle has been years in the making for most people. It crept in gradually, reinforced by a sore knee, a close call on an icy step, a morning when the hip was stiff and small steps felt easier. The nervous system learned it, and now it runs that pattern without asking. Retraining it takes conscious repetition, not complicated repetition, just deliberate walking. Every time you get up from a chair, every time you cross the kitchen, every time you walk down a hallway, heel first, let it roll, full stride. A few weeks of that done consistently, and the system starts to re-encode it. The stride lengthens, the clearance improves, the rhythm stabilizes. And as the rhythm stabilizes, confidence comes back, because the brain can feel the difference between a gait that's in control and one that isn't. When the gait improves, fear of falling often reduces. And when fear reduces, the shuffle doesn't creep back in as fast. This is the part most people miss. The heel first change is the core fix, but there are a handful of things that will actively work against it if you don't know about them. Footwear. This matters more than people realize. Backless slippers, loose moccasins, anything without a heel counter that holds the back of the foot in place. These change how you walk before you even take the first step. An analysis of over 70,000 fall incidents found that open slippers significantly predicted falls, resulting in hospital transfers in older women. The mechanics are direct. If your shoe might slip off, your brain automatically shortens the stride and flattens the foot to keep it on. You can't walk heel first confidently in footwear that punishes you for lifting your foot. Closed heel, lace-up, or Velcro fastened shoes with a firm textured sole. That's the foundation this technique needs. Looking down while you walk, it feels logical. You're watching for hazards, but dropping your chin affects your whole postural chain. It rounds the upper back, shifts your center of gravity slightly forward, and reduces the input your balance system gets from the horizon. Eyes forward walking supports better rhythm and more consistent stride length than eyes down. Scan the ground a few feet ahead of you, not straight down. Doing two things at once while walking, talking on the phone, reaching into a bag, trying to answer a question mid-stride, all of these pull mental resources away from gait control. In older adults, with any degree of balance compromise, the cost of that divided attention shows up directly in step variability. It's not a character flaw, the brain simply can't fully manage gait while managing something else at the same time. Walk first, talk when you've stopped, especially on stairs, on uneven ground, or in unfamiliar environments. None of these are complicated. Together, they create the conditions where heel-first walking can actually do its job. One more thing worth knowing, and this reframes who this applies to. The gait changes that predict fall risk don't begin at 70. The research shows the decline starts in your 40s and 50s, quietly, before most people notice. Which means this isn't just for people who've already fallen. It's for anyone who wants to make sure they're not building toward one. Check your gait right now, today. Stand up, walk to the other end of the room, and back. Are your feet landing flat? Are your steps short and shuffling? Is your toe barely clearing the floor? Are you watching your feet? If any of that is yes, that's the starting point. Not a diagnosis, a starting point. Walk deliberately for the next 2 weeks. Every time you get up, heel strikes full stride, chin up. Most people notice the difference in how it feels before they notice it in anything else. A little more solidity, a little more control, less of that vague uncertainty about whether the next step is going to go wrong. That feeling is not nothing. That's your gait system starting to trust itself again. Subscribe if you found this useful. And if someone in your life has developed that careful shuffle and thinks it's keeping them safe, send this to them. They deserve to know what it's actually doing.